Welcome in to a special edition of Hawks Live Gaming. I got 3 710 co-hosts of mine with me here, and we're going to play a little N64, a little retro gaming. Talk about the season that's happened so far in the bye week for the Seahawks, and we'll get right into things here with Mario Kart, guys. Are you excited?
I'm really excited. All of us are leaning forward on our knees.
Everyone's on the front.
You could lean the most forward.
And none of us were looking at you when you were talking. We're just like, yeah, no, let's go.
We're ready to go.
There's a lot on the line here. Pride.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
Dignity, our jobs.
Sponsorship deals, our jobs. Pink slips of our cars.
Exactly.
The order of importance here is probably talking about the Seahawks and then the game, but
I don't know though.
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Right?
All right, so we'll do. What do you guys want to do engine-wise as we jump into the game
I practiced on 50 cc's.
Yeah, Stacy
Keep practice.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
The only one.
Because I was here on time.
She was also here on time.
No,
so.
I just call it an unfair advantage. Like, some of us, were on the air, and we had to, do work and things.
Fine.
That's
so
true.
it's fine.
You're not cheating. You're not trying.
Yeah. Says the Astros.
And me.
Yeah.
Good point. Topical reference.
Yeah.
Topical reference.
Should we do 100? Let's do middle ground?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Extra is the worst. I think we can all agree the backwards
Yoshi.
courses are the worst.
Well, and are you on Mario?
I'm on Yoshi.
I'm on Mario.
I'm off Mario. I'm on
Okay.
Wario.
I'm
I'll
on-
take Wario. I'll take
Slow your roll.
Ooh,
the
good. We
opposite.
need.
Ooh, there
ooh,
we go.
Oh,
We got,
couple big
we got
boys,
heavyweight.
couple speed
This is
sticks.
nice.
All right.
All right.
That's a good transition. So we'll do the Mushroom Cup, and then we'll do the Special Cup.
Okay.
So we'll start with the Mushroom Cup. We'll talk about the Seahawks and the 10 games they played.
Okay.
And then the Special Cup, we'll talk about the 6 games that they have left.
Oh,
after
I
this
like
bye week.
that.
So we'll jump into it right here, Luigi Raceway. But guys, 8-2, coming off the big win against the San Francisco 49ers. What is the biggest surprise so far about this Seahawks team?
I think it's that the overall, if you take away last week, that the pass rush isn't what it's been, and it's hard to say that now after that performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you looked at the moves that John Schneider made in the offseason and preseason, we were talking about this front seven. Who did that? We were talking about this front seven like they're going to be potentially unstoppable, like a top 5, kind of pass rush potential. And, it's better late than never.
Good
I'm
point.
going to stop answering.
No, it's good.
Things are getting really competitive all of a
It's
sudden.
tough. It's really tough.
What do you guys think?
Most of the players have found it to be tough as well. So, yeah, Lids, Paul, what do you guys think?
About this game and how, I'm losing, but...
First of
Once
all,
I stopped answering, I got a star. So
Okay.
I think we're all having a
Know
difficult
that.
time
Alright,
multitasking.
cool.
know yourself, know your worth.
I do have the advantage. It's almost like hot ones. I've eaten the wings before.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I know
I
how
can't stay
hot
on
the
this
wings
road.
are.
Okay.
Oop, there you go.
I'm gonna sit myself with my own red shell.
Good.
So there's
I
that.
didn't even know
I
that was
feel bad
physically
about
possible.
You could almost say the Seahawks defense started off that way.
Ooh.
Almost hitting
Yeah.
What a
themselves
transition.
with the red shell. What from the beginning of the season to now, I think, what do you think has changed the most with that Seahawks defense?
I think now that you finally have production out of the pass rush in a game, you're hoping that that's something that actually will happen again, because who knows? It might not happen again. With how well Jadeveon and Clowney, yes, and I lightninged all of you.
Yep.
Cool dude.
Sorry. had to do
Classic
it.
Bowser.
Messed up.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm the slowest person racing right now,
And the
clearly.
most evil.
That's true.
Always capturing
Wario more
princesses,
easy?
stealing
Oh,
them,
that's true.
taking
Yeah,
them to your
Wario
castle.
and Bowser are pretty evil. They're
Wario at least is the other half of Mario. He's his dark side.
Yeah.
And Bowser just has no excuse.
No
for
purpose.
being the
He's
way
just
that he
bored.
is, you know?
he's
I
the
should've
Jimmy
done that
Garoppolo to
tunnel.
Russell
Yeah.
Wilson.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a
wow.
bold-
Great
that's a
plane.
bold
I like that.
And yeah, I guess because he, doesn't get it done in the clutch. That's definitely
Exactly.
very,
See?
very
Mario
true.
always
the
getting
man
it done in the
here.
clutch.
I tried.
Every game's named after him. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is.
it's the first
This is
race.
rigged.
First race. You got a lot of time here.
Stress.
You know,
Look
it's
at my
kind of
guys
like
crying.
the preseason, actually, I would say.
This doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't
It,
matter.
it doesn't matter, and it's not always indicative of how you're going to do
Of your
that
later
season.
performance. Pete Carroll would agree with that.
I
True.
think so too.
It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
Can you win a game in the first race?
Yes.
No.
No.
No. Well,
Probably.
I mean, depends, right? You can rack up.
You
the
can actually
points.
win the race.
You
though.
can win one race.
Taylor was
I
giving me
mean-
a hard time for gunning it when we're stopped here and pressing A. That's how you rev up your engine.
Okay, hold on.
But
yes.
tell me how.
Stacy, tell everyone on camera what's the strategy.
The
you have
strategy
before
is
the race.
when the race is about to start, you just rev up your engine. You press A a couple times. You don't hold it down because you're gonna spin out. I've been doing it. Trust me, I've been playing this game for 20
minutes.
8
Yeah.
plus years. When did it come out?
But also like 20 minutes ago.
But also, yeah, I just picked it up again after 20 years.
Yeah.
Like
But-
nothing.
I know. But let me tell you what, you rev the engine and then you're so quick off the line, and that's how you get it going. It's just like a real life race. And then you, to my face,
Real life
told me
race.
that that's not true.
So it's not true. I'm pretty sure that revving your engine before these.
Then tell me
Mario
why
Kart
I'm in
races-
second place.
I don't know. I can't debate that. So, as far as players and who stands out to you so far in the Seahawks season, I know everyone's going to say Russell Wilson. He's the leading candidate right now
Go
for
outside
MVP.
of Russell, then.
Yeah, outside of Russell, who are you enjoying, or who's been the biggest surprise to you so far in the Seahawks season?
Question.
Lydia, what do you
It's
think?
hard not to follow with Jadeveon Clowney as well if you're going to choose your defensive MVP. I joked on Twitter a while ago that I'd like to start a appreciation group called the Insane Clowney Posse.
Ooh, I love that.
And, I think we're growing. Membership is growing. It's booming. Still accepting applications for, front office officer positions.
Oh, okay.
So
Treasurer.
if anyone treasurer is...
Do we have a signature drink? Because the ICP
Ooh,
fans have Fago.
That's right.
As their big soda drink. Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. Lids swooping in first.
I like it. I mean, I don't like it, but it's still okay.
Mario's still trying to find his footing right now.
You know what?
It's early. It's early.
It's early. I'm
It's
just kind of
early,
checking out the course.
As in, it's still lap 3.
Here's
It's the
the
end
thing.
of the race.
A slow start doesn't mean anything.
Again, it's kind of like that Monday Night Football game. You know, you can't...
I bring
win.
other talents to this
Yes.
video, I feel.
Jadeveon Clowney would be my pick, I think. And, gosh, he's so fun to watch. And I know Pete Carroll's defenses can be kind of frustrating because you got to wait. It's just waiting on Friday night for your date to show up. And for a while, you're like, oh, are you even going to show up? We kept being promised the past.
Are we being ghosted?
I know.
Are we being?
But as
did we
someone
just
who's
get
been
stood
stood up multiple times in my life on a Friday night, mostly in high school, because your friends are they work down their list of cool options. And
That's
then
when
they
we
give
were
you-
cool.
Yeah. That it felt maybe we're just maybe this is just a case of Pete's optimism. And it's never going to show up, but it was cool to see things start to come together, and hopefully it's just a starting off point for them.
And Paul, you've covered Clowney every snap now, almost of his career, right?
Of his NFL career,
Yeah.
I was covering him with the Houston Texans, and I think it's really incredible that the Texans just decided, all right, we're going to trade him for a 3rd-round pick, pay half of his salary,
Great
and get Barkevius Mingo and Jacob Martin in return. The thing with him, he's a really weird player to figure out when you look at the stat sheet. It's going to be misleading every single time because he's never going to be a sack guy. But one of my former coworkers who used to play defensive line in the NFL, Seth Payne, described it to me as he's essentially a nose tackle playing defensive end. Because he's going to push people back. He's going to do a really good job disrupting any team's running effort. And he's going to create opportunities for other guys. And you finally saw Jaron Reed taking advantage of that in Monday Night Football. He's a great player. I still can't really figure out why the Texans didn't like him, and they didn't. That was one of the main reasons. They didn't like the stuff that he wasn't doing off the field. When on the field, he's always been the kind of impactful player that we've been seeing of him, especially on Monday night.
Is there anything from your perspective you notice different that he's doing different here in Seattle, or that maybe that that's something you see in his game, having someone else around him, not having someone else around him? Has that done anything to Clowney's game, you think?
I think it's been a little more difficult for him here just because there has not really been that there just hasn't been a real lot of help for him. And you look at the secondary for the Seahawks, which has had some issues to open up the year, and the linebacker core, which has in the past been such a strength of this team. As I crash into a tree again, and that has happened a lot on this race. I think now that you finally got Jaron Reed playing the way that he did, that maybe there's something that you can build off of with that, and they're going to need to have that happen because right now you need the defense to do better. And yeah, I came in last. This is
That's
not going so
Lydia
well with Bowser.
currently in first with the 2 first place. And we'll get into our last.
Is using Yoshi cheating?
I did mention that I was stood up a lot on Friday nights in high school, so.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Causation or correlation?
Right?
Where we were talking about most surprising parts of this season.
Pleasant surprises.
Yeah, pleasant surprises. Yeah.
I think DK Metcalf, you've got to throw.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, offensively, there's got to be someone on this list.
For
For
sure.
someone who was as hyped as he was, be still a surprise. Question. Because, again, sure, yeah, he fell in the draft, but are any of us maybe we're too close to it, surprised by him?
It's a good question. I think there were certainly people out there that thought, well, of course he's going to get 1,000,005 yards because he's just this
Monster size.
complete monster of a wide receiver. But yeah, but I mean, I think there's something to say too about you look at the other rookie wide receivers, and he's significantly outpaced them because, I mean, obviously not from experience, but through random interviews we've done with wide receivers, it sounds like sometimes it is harder to adjust for maybe that position in particular, and that could be someone's personal opinion too, but I think that to be outpacing every wide receiver that was taken above you is notable, I think.
And I mean, just couldn't happen to like a cooler guy in terms of every interview that we've had with him, and also just maybe like the coolest game day fashion.
Let's talk about that David Bowie
Slash,
idea.
Love and
Ziggy?
No.
yeah, like Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy Stardust.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
that's his alter ego. There, sorry about that.
Sorry.
I set you up. I set
You
you up
really
with the
did.
Ziggy Ansah.
I walked into that one by making a reference I didn't understand.
No, but
Twitter
also,
told me it was
where's
David
Ziggy
Bowie.
Ansah on the face paint too? Let's see him get a little bit more involved with that. Maybe that might help him, production wise, get back to where he wants to be. Just maybe it's all in the face paint.
I don't recognize roads when I have the star.
Oh yeah.
What are
You're not supposed
limitations?
to.
I have none.
Now, Stacy, there's also some other things you don't recognize in this game.
Yeah. Wanna tell us
Dinosaur
about that?
drivers.
I don't recognize dinosaur drivers.
I mean, seems,
Lydia in our
seems
text,
a little closed-minded. That's all I'm saying.
Lydia in our text thread before we started playing tried to call Yoshi and was like, if any of you take Yoshi, I'll fight you, which was violent and aggressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she responded with being like xenophobic and saying,
No,
I don't believe
I responded
in
with saying,
dinosaur
go ahead and
drivers."
take Yoshi. I don't want a dinosaur driver. I don't believe dinosaurs should be driving. So
Yeah, seems
go
fair.
for it.
Yeah.
And then. here
And I got
am
hit by
in
the
last
train.
place.
Oh, that's...
no.
Oh, no.
I'm running right into these bananas. I want to okay, here's the thing. Did I get in extra practice?
Yes,
Without
you did.
everyone- Yes.
You are the Houston Astros.
Yeah, I'm running straight into things. Here's the thing. I was first place in every single lap that I did when I
jaded
by
you.
myself. Well, I
Yeah.
think I have test anxiety now.
Speaking of number one, I think everyone would agree the number one game in the first 10 games was that Niners game. But what was the other, I'd say, what would you put as the game right below it as the second most important game in those first 10 games?
The Rams.
Yes, the
I think the win
Rams.
over the Rams was huge.
And it was so loud at CenturyLink Field for that game too, and I thought the crowd stepped up, and I think that was also the first game where we started to realize, okay, this Seahawks team is more than just another afterthought in the NFC. This is a team that actually can maybe maybe compete for an actual championship. Thoughts?
I do. I think both, like all the primetime games have not disappointed, which also surprised me why the Seahawks are getting flexed out of primetime in favor of Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Ugh.
I can see the NFL's incentive for doing that though,
Sure.
because right now those are the two, like essentially the 1 and 2 seed. So
That's true.
It's really a toss-up. I think that the Seahawks are just as good a case, especially since both teams are still very popular teams and still battling for playoff spots and would be in the playoffs right now if it ended. But I can kind of see the incentive. Although can you flex like a week 17 at the prime time or no? Have they? I know they did with week 16.
In the past, they, I think, used to flex one game, and that would be definitely a possibility with
Because
Seahawks,
49ers,
Niners.
Seahawks,
Right.
especially if it was like last year between the Chargers and Chiefs, if you're battling for between a wild card and a first or second
Right, and
round
a
bye.
divisionals.
Definitely. I also think, though, there's something to, they
I
want...
hate this one.
Yeah, this one's tricky.
Oh.
Now we're in the tough courses now.
I don't
we'll
like- I don't
we'll
like it.
make some tougher questions as well. So.
Oh no.
Oh, just to go
You
on
know,
top
I'm just
of
gonna
that.
stay here.
Wow, I'm just gonna accept my fourth place
Oh, God.
finish right now.
Oh, no.
Oh, you still have to.
Oh, boy.
I think you're gonna beat me here.
Driving
Driving a record.
Don't,
Oh no.
don't drive
no,
off the cliff. Good job.
No.
Good job.
Where were we? There was a lightning storm.
What
Yeah.
was our question?
Oh, what was happening?
Well, now let's spin it forward. We're in the harder races, so let's spin it forward.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna make it tougher on you guys.
Okay.
There's some big games left, a lot of primetime games. We were talking about the primetime schedule and flexing people out beforehand, but there are a lot of primetime games still left for the Seahawks team. What do you think the biggest game left on the Seahawks schedule is?
Ooh, man.
Is it
outside of that 49ers game?
Well, is it the 49ers? Some people are saying the Minnesota game might be big as well.
That's a big one because they would be your other team looking at a wild card spot.
Correct.
So need to have that tiebreaker over them.
A few different layers. All right, so some people are struggling on these courses. Some
You know what? I'm in 4th place. I don't want to hear about anyone struggling. I can't even get on this bridge. I'm just gonna.
You know,
You know what? I'm gonna.
Why don't
drive
you
it
hit
like
us
a-
with some good content then? As far
I'm
as
going
Seahawks.
school speed limit zone with
Yeah.
this right now.
Tell us your favorite game then, Stacy, or what
Like,
game you're looking forward to the most.
The game I'm looking forward to the
Yeah.
most. Maybe the home matchup against the Vikings in primetime. I
Yeah.
think primetime games just carry this different weight. They're more fun to cover for some reason. I always there's just additional weight. Everyone's watching it.
Spreads.
Yeah, and I think that would probably be the one that I am most looking forward to covering for sure. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean I think the Vikings are the one team that people are quote unquote sleeping on. I think everyone will expect the Rams and the
guys,
Niners matchup to be
Paul
tough.
just lapped me. Right.
No, that
Did
was
I?
me.
That was you?
That was Taylor.
Good. You stay in 2nd place, Paul. Good job, Taylor. I'll accept that from you.
All right.
I'm
This
looking.
is your Nintendo 64.
It is my 64,
It is
but
your
also I will
64.
say that
How do you stay on the road?
I'm actually not
No!
that good at
Oh,
Mario Kart.
that's-
because someone was a
Really?
Diddy
'Cause
Kong
you're-
Racing
I was a
master.
nationally ranked Diddy Kong racer.
Oh, how old
He
were you
said
when
he
you
didn't
did
want to
that?
play
Uh,
Diddy Kong Racing because he didn't want to embarrass
I
us.
won't tell
And
you how
believe
old I
him.
was because I was
Idiot
pretty old.
want to embarrass
15.
us.
Nice.
15.
Oh, way older than 15.
Oh, how do you? I didn't even know you could do that. There are barriers there.
We're learning.
What about players you're hoping to see step up in the next few games? I know Ziggy, we talked about Ziggy.
How many
Ansah.
times can we say Ziggy Ansah?
I know.
Don't say Ziggy Ansah. Say someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, say someone else.
You know what? Change direction here, like I'm about to do.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Oh.
Should
Didn't
we go-
really pay off for
let's break it
Stacy,
down.
but
Let's-
what do you think will pay off
let's-
for the Seahawks? there,
Okay, let's
Stacey?
go offensive and defensive.
Okay.
Let's say players we still want to see have, whether it's they had underperformed in the first half. So let's go offense.
Offensively, I think Jacob Hollister is going to be a big key for
Yeah.
this offense, and you just saw how much they used him, and even in the big situations where Seahawks needed a crucial catch, it seemed like he was looking toward, even when Tyler was healthy, he was looking towards Jacob Hollister. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see sort of what that looks like for the rest of the season, what that tight end position looks like. Ed Dixon coming back, what's he going to do? So
Yeah, I think I'm very curious to see how Ed Dixon gets worked into the fold here, especially if that injury to Luke Wilson ends up being a more serious one.
yep.
I think having tight end depth there is something that you especially would be curious about heading into the rest of the season. Maybe someone like Rashad Penny. Chris Carson has been healthy and he's been productive and he's had another really good season, but I think Seattle initially wanted that 1-2 punch and they have yet to kind of land on it. So kind of seeing how if he's able to bounce back after kind of a rough week
Yeah.
against San Francisco.
Yeah. Lydia, Paul?
This is also an obvious pick, but Josh Gordon, I guess. I'm still concerned about Tyler Lockett.
Same.
And where his status might be. That just came as
Yeah.
a shocker and pretty sad because there's nobody who works harder than Tyler, and Still be curious to see the extent of his injury, and then in lieu of him, your offense has been hit hard this year. Who's going to step up? And I think Josh Gordon could be that guy. You saw him make an immediate impact in the game. The numbers aren't necessarily there, but his presence also just opens up other opportunities, whether they are for DK Metcalf or Jake Hollister. So I'll be very curious to see how Josh Gordon does in the second half here.
I feel the same way about Gordon, and you know how talented the guy is. I also think that you got to look at the whole offensive line. I mean, Russell Wilson got sacked 5 times by the 49ers. The 49ers defense is really, really good. But can this offensive line keep Russell Wilson upright, keep him healthy? I mean, he's been so durable the entirety of his career, but he needs to be even more durable this season, it feels like. And is that offensive line also going to be able to help this running game still be effective? Because we know this team wants to. Oh, that egg just killed me.
I try to avoid the egg and just prematurely steer. Here's the thing, too. There's question marks where we can't see who's in first place, but I think I can figure out who's
This
in
is
last
by far
place.
the hardest course.
I hate this course. I hate this
I can
game.
tell
Why
you
did I
who's in
ever
last.
I
play it?
honestly think we should have played with 50 cc's because
You guys,
we're too powerful.
we're too proud.
We're like Chris Carson in the open
dominated
field.
in
Right.
Just a little too powerful.
And
Yeah,
you're
I
hoping
just
Chris
ran
Carson
too
behind
hard.
that offensive line can continue.
Yes.
Oopsie.
Look at that transition.
You know what if I just go
Oh
on a straight
no!
line?
Off the bridge.
Guys, this is why we get paid the big bucks
Oh,
to
yeah.
do this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which
Okay.
one's
Fall off bridges on Mario Kart 64.
second lap?
Right.
Ugh, there's so much more to go. I hate this.
Yeah, this one is an all-time worst. It doesn't look good for us as well.
A lot of
I'm
the
going off
special-
here.
Will a star keep you from falling off a cliff?
No.
No, it will not.
Sadly, no.
No, it will not. Nothing will keep you from falling off, as I've found out in the hard way today.
Oh no. Oh no.
Lydia, very smart, going the speed limit as she drives
Yeah,
by me.
that's what I need to do.
Well, it's hard.
That's
it's
my first
against
problem
your nature,
here.
you know.
Is the
I have a
first
need for
question mark
speed,
in
and
like
it's difficult.
significant first? Oh no, I'm going in
Oh,
reverse.
Stacy is going the opposite
Why did
way.
they have
Oh.
a road that way?
Oh, well, I guess I
Oh.
was in first, so that was nice for a
Yeah,
little
like
bit.
that's
I think
on
Lids
them.
is in first.
No, I'm doing fine. I'm just gonna
It's
go.
going to.
I'm just gonna go
change
slow.
so much.
I'm
Oh!
just gonna do this.
Thanks, teacher.
Here we go.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep pressing
Look
it
what
like
you
this.
did.
and
This
we're
is
just
gonna be great content, definitely for the videos.
Oh my god, so many people are that. Here's the thing.
But
A
there
lot
are-
of people watching, like before I played this, I was like, dude, I dominated Mario Kart. Like I absolutely crushed it. But you have this memory of doing it from when you were like 14 or younger.
Right.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
then you actually play it and
The-
you're like, oh, my hands don't know what they're doing.
The
Like,
games you
my
play-
body won't respond.
Yeah, the games you play and like dominate as a kid. Very much. Oh, I just slipped on my own banana. What's happening?
Wow, that's
And a lightning, and I'm falling down a hill.
Oh, I'm
What is
significantly in
going
last
on?
place. I can see my question mark now.
Uh-oh.
Or am I in first
Wow.
place?
I
Or
thought
am I
all that
quite,
practice was going to help.
am I very far ahead?
Sad.
All it did was ruin my reputation with my coworkers who now think I'm a cheater.
It's very
Cheater, pumpkin
You
eater.
know,
It's
We
not
are what we
necessarily
are.
cheating. It's more just
It's not
like,
cheating, it's just
it's
preparation.
just a desire.
Yeah.
It's a desire to win.
Just yeah.
And
that's,
it
we'll
didn't
call
work
that.
out, so you guys are fine.
I'm pretty sure
Everyone's
that's what-
fine. No one got hurt.
That's what the Astros might go with as well. It's just a desire to win.
It's a desire to win.
All
That's
right.
all it was.
As we sit here, as we're trying to finish this horrendous map,
Yeah.
Russell
No!
Wilson.
Ah!
Will Russell Wilson win the MVP this season? Will we be
man.
talking about Russell Wilson's MVP year
Campaign.
and trophy at the end of the year?
I think the Seahawks have to make a deep push into the postseason. At least get like a first or second seed. And I also think that unfortunately for him, the offense he's in doesn't really give him an opportunity to be a volume passer, and so you're competing with guys that are
Who put the
throwing for like
statistics.
like 300
Yeah.
and something yards per game.
The
This
volume.
game is rigged. Yeah, and what's unfortunate is he's the most efficient passer, but it's people just see numbers. So an interception for someone that's throwing the ball around a ton, like if Matt Ryan were healthy, it's almost like it means less to fans because
Yeah.
they're like, well, you're taking more chances. And really, Russell Wilson is making really smart decisions with the football. He's winning them games, but I don't know. It's just it's like an uphill battle, I think.
Here's what we need. That Sunday night game that the Seahawks got flexed out of, we need Aaron Rodgers to get absolutely destroyed by the 49ers defense.
Yes.
Help us out, 49ers.
Yeah.
Help us out with the the missed field goal in overtime. That was pretty sweet. Also, This coming weekend, you've got a game between the two other MVP candidates, Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
And what happens in that game, I guess, is also going to really have a serious effect.
Another great game from Lamar Jackson, or Watson for that matter, and that conversation becomes even more clouded.
I think you want Deshaun Watson to have the better game this weekend so that there's a little bit more of a back and forth between he and Lamar.
Yep.
And yeah, if you're trying to think of ways to make the MVP race gamed so that Russ has the best chance of winning, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's like a friend of an enemy, or like
an
enemy of an enemy.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. Sort of where we're living right now as Seahawks fans and fans of Russell Wilson.
Do you think that the way that they, like the MVP measurement voting needs to change at all?
I do, because I think only quarterbacks get the award.
Yeah.
And I understand that quarterbacks are the most valuable position that there is, but I mean...
But sometimes a good defensive player can... You look at like...
J.J. Watt had 20.5 sacks, and he scored a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah.
He wasn't the MVP winner.
Or just some running backs who are able to help their team control the clock, really help their team dominate possession.
And you saw Adrian Peterson at least get it, but you won't see, like, receivers, they never get the award.
Right.
Cornerbacks never get it. Defensive players, I think only one defensive player ever has won
And you
the
have
award.
to be, like, have just an uncanny season.
Right.
Well, and even in terms of measurement between, like, for instance, Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson, both having incredible seasons, and watching Lamar Jackson is so much fun. Yeah. But who means more to their teams in terms of wins? Like, who is more important? Russell Wilson to me is worth how many of the Seahawks wins? All of them nearly.
Yeah.
Whereas Lamar Jackson has had a pretty solid defense and behind him.
Although to his credit, he's also all of their run game. And we were making that conversation when Russell Wilson was the leading rusher for Seattle and the leading passer, saying that he's, 80% of their offense.
Oh, no.
Then you get into the conversation of how much running backs matter, of course.
I don't want to get into that conversation. I'm too scared.
No, but
who lives here? Whose castle is this? Like, there's no
ghosts.
Sort of ghosts.
Is this my castle?
Like
no, this looks
Bowser's
awful.
castle has all that lava.
Yeah, I don't want to live here. It's always nighttime. It's dangerous. There's no furniture. Someone graffitied arrows all over the wall.
Hold on, though. Here's the spin, though. Think about all this waterfront property.
True.
Square footage.
But it's not water that you either want to view or go into.
How do we know it's even waterfront?
Is this fresh water? Or
I mean, I've fallen into it a couple times.
Well, we'll have to ask Curtis. We'll have to ask Curtis about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going backwards now.
Aha! It's time for me to catch up.
Here we go.
Oh, you're
going to make a break for
Is Stacy getting lapped again?
Yeah.
No.
Stacy just passed me back, so I was lapping.
Aha! Until now.
Stacy has regained her pride here.
Oh, oops, the arrow. See, that's the thing, too, is the arrows are so confusing. You gotta back up and you gotta... What I've learned from this is I'm the safest driver, actually.
That's true.
You'll get a nice discount in your insurance.
This is hard. I don't like this anymore.
So we're getting to that time. We're gonna go to Rainbow Road.
Thank God.
Oh, no.
Well,
are you guys all gonna go for the jump? I guess.
I've never done it.
Can you remind me where the jump is?
Okay, so on the initial start, you're gonna start to go down the hill, and to your left, you're gonna have to hit the right bumper button and try and jump over the edge right as you're going down the hill.
Yeah, I can
jump
do it.
over the edge.
I have nothing to lose.
We'll all try. We'll give it a shot.
I've never done it.
We'll sort of wrap up with this course and with this question of, where do you see this team at the end of the season? Are we talking about NFC West champs? Are we talking about a wild card team? Where do you think the Seahawks are at the end as we do the jump?
Wait, where is it? Right here?
Yeah,
I'm
sliding down.
I don't know what my guy's doing. I'm stuck in the wall.
I can't jump now. I'm in
Bowser
second.
and Wario are in the back. The big boys are in the back.
Finally, it's my time to shine.
This one also used to burn my eyes as a kid because you would never blink, and you would just be like,
What would this course
I need
be
those
like
blue
for
light
someone
glasses
with
right
color
now.
blindness?
Sensory overload.
Yeah.
Did anyone else find that their opinion of the season changed pretty, not drastically, but notably after the 49ers game? Because before the 49ers game, I'll totally call myself out. I I did not think Seattle would be able to win. Not because they don't have plenty of talent, but they hadn't been able to kind of execute at the same time on
put it all
defense.
together.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were playing on the road. The 49ers defense is stifling. Their passing defense stats are just unreal. But then after that, even though it was 5 seconds left in overtime, that's how you won, I still feel like the season has just completely, my outlook on the season is totally flipped, and I can't tell if it's recency bias, if that's bad analysis or what, but that's how I feel.
Well, if you think about the flip side, what happens if they lose that game, right? What are they, 3 games out from the Niners at that point?
Right.
And
Well, and then that game against
Your
Minnesota becomes drastically more important. It's still important, but all of a sudden you're just fighting for a wild card.
Right.
Instead of now, you still have a shot at the division.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think about the rest of the season?
I think it made me feel like there may be a little bit of hope for the defense, because I did not think there was much hope for the defense until watching that game, seeing Clowney have the effect that he had, where they really rattled Jimmy Garoppolo and they stopped a 49ers running attack that's really good. And I didn't know they had the potential to do that. I thought it was going to be a matter of, can Russ outgun whoever he's going up against every single week? And that's pretty unsustainable, you would think. But to this point...
Guys, I made the jump.
No!
He made the jump and he missed it.
I
Missed it.
Oh, see, I was watching you make the jump, and then I was driving sideways.
Okay.
So I still have my hand on the gas.
All right, well, it's okay. Now I'm in third, so you have everyone sort of
Well, not
in a
everyone.
big clump. Well,
But-
everyone but Stacy.
I'm with you, Stacy, on that. My expectations changed a little bit, and I'm curious as to what you guys think of what they did on Monday. If they can do that, do you think they can do that
Making
defensively
the
again?
jump.
I think they can. I don't think there's any reason why they shouldn't be able to do that. If they can do it on the road, 5-0 now on the road, this team is. You would think that they could do it at home as well. And when you have some of these bigger matchups like we've mentioned before, and some of them at home, it just feels like, they should be able to do all these things they did on the road and then some when they get here to the safe confines of CenturyLink.
I like that you said 5 wins on the road this team has, like Yoda.
Yes.
5 teams
5
on the
teams.
road this team
But
has.
close game.
I mean, The Mandalorian just came out on Disney Plus, and I will say I've been watching it.
Ooh,
Nice,
how is it thus far?
I'm only 1 episode in, but very positive.
It's living up to the hype.
It's living up to the hype.
I
There's
want
been a
like
lot of hype.
a
I've seen-
Vanderpump Rules version of like that Star Wars restaurant where it's still Star
Right.
Wars, but
Oh,
really
lot of
watching
stuff.
a reality
A lot
show
of
of all the
cantina.
waiters and waitresses at
So
the
like
would watch
cantina.
when
that.
it came down to like who shot first, then
Yeah.
we'd have like we'd have the waitresses perspective. We'd have
Yeah.
like insider perspective on who
Ooh.
shot first.
And they would tease it all season.
I mean,
it would be
clearly
like
it
Cold
was
Dispense
Han.
Jump.
And then the
That's
end of the
fine.
episode would be one poor guy having to like clean up all the mess.
Right.
Leave.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jedi.
Thanks.
Yeah, totally Peter.
Yeah, poor Peter. Poor Peter.
So we do get to talk a lot of fun stuff on Hawks Live. So I'll ask you, we were just talking TV. What are some of the other TV shows you guys like to watch right now?
Oh,
or some of the
man.
other entertainment that you find yourself engaging with?
I watch a lot of trash reality TV.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Addictive.
Lay it on.
90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight, Vanderpump Rules, Real Housewives of all cities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Those are all in the
I can't
Criterion
stop. I
channel,
can't
right?
stop.
Discriminate which city though. Like you're willing
Yeah.
to give
Oh, absolutely.
any city a shot.
Yeah.
All right, here we
I-
go.
I
Unlike
think
Dinosaur's Drive.
Get it?
Yeah.
Get it? Get
Atlanta
it?
and Beverly Hills are the two.
Oh!
Okay.
Nailed it.
Did you hit the jump?
I hit
No,
the
I
jump.
didn't.
Oh,
hit
Paul
the
hits the
jump.
jump,
Why did I
ladies
get
and gentlemen.
there?
Here we go.
Why did
I'm
I
going
get
for
there?
it. Oh, wow.
I tried to jump over
Why?
this monster.
Paul's going to run away with this one, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen.
Makes me
Oh,
so mad.
I can't believe I
Why
Why am
finally
I
did the
behind
jump.
my road?
He did the jump. Is that your first time ever, Paul?
It's my first time ever doing the jump, yes.
Wow. Glad we were all here
On
for
video.
that.
We had this on video,
Yeah.
too.
Wow. Yeah, Paul's. It's
Big
not even
moment.
close right now.
Yeah, no. If you make the jump, you got it in the bag.
What are you guys
so.
watching? I just want to. I do want to preface that I watch better shows than that, but
Uh,
You do.
I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
I do. You know, R.I.P. Game of Thrones.
There are a lot of shows out, and it's hard to keep track of all of them.
What?
I'll just leave a couple and go through them really quickly. The final season of Mr. Robot, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, you've been a big fan.
Rick and Morty
Oh,
just
yeah,
started its
season
next
4
season.
Just started. Did you watch
Huge
the new
fan.
episode?
I did.
Loved
it.
Fascist Morty was a little scary.
I know. So is B Morty.
Yes.
hate
yes.
bees.
No, Wasp Morty.
Or Wasp Morty.
Wasp
No,
Morty.
No, Wasp Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Wasp
oh,
Morty
yeah.
was there, too.
Yeah.
I finished the most recent season of Peaky Blinders on Netflix. Oh wow, I think I set that trap for myself.
I stopped watching Peaky Blinders. Oh no, I'm gonna spoil
The
it.
Peaky Blinders!
Don't spoil it. Don't
Okay,
spoil
okay.
Hey,
Why
a
do
certain
what?
season, a certain season, or
Yes.
a certain thing that happened. You can
There,
kind
in a
of,
certain
like, paint around
season,
it.
a storyline that I really liked was cut short
Yeah.
when a character
Yep.
passed,
Yep.
and it made me sad, so I just stopped watching. I gave up on
I
it.
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't
It's a
think I
bummer.
That sucks when you're really into a show. That's the thing, especially with like darker shows, is you get really into it, and it's like don't become attached to anyone.
Yeah.
Because
Like
Like Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones taught you
Game of
that
Thrones, I can't
like,
even talk
pretty
about that
quickly.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was
Still
the
sad.
lesson we all had to learn the hard way. It's like
Exactly.
you just you don't
Don't
always
trust
get what
no
you
one.
want. It's like
That's
the
the-
Rolling Stones once said.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I think the most upsetting thing is now we saw what they did with Sonic the Hedgehog in that movie, and they saved
Didn't
the
they
movie
totally
by
scrap
redoing
it?
it. They redid the character.
Is
and
it because people didn't?
Yeah,
Did
because
they-
people freaked out.
His
It's like-
teeth were weird looking.
yeah, it's like, why can't we do that with Game of Thrones? Why can't our freak out really,
Yeah.
really get us
Sure.
there? But it didn't. We had some fun playing
Yes.
Mario Kart.
Did we?
We're going to have a lot more fun. Well, some of us did. We're going to have a lot more fun watching
Man,
the
that
Seahawks.
practice does not make perfect.
Yeah, Stacy.
Can we go back to 50cc?
We'll do.
Let's go back to watching me play.
We'll run it back maybe at the end of the year. Have
Yeah.
an end of the season rewind. Maybe
I
we'll
like
play
it.
Smash Bros. Play
Yes.
some other N64
Yeah.
games. But Stacy Rost, Lydia Cruz, Paul Gallant, I'm Taylor Jacobs. Thanks for tuning in to Hawks Live Gaming.